This has to be a day, and this has to be the beginning, when people begin to turn away from all the excuses that this system has given for hundreds of years for why this has to be that way. And how, even though it carries out genocide and murder, whether from slavery to Jim Crow, to the new Jim Crow today, to the wars it wages on the world, that this is the greatest country in the world, the greatest country there has ever been, the homeland of freedom and democracy. No, not this time when we swallow those lies. Not this time can people be told to go to sleep and to wait another 6 months or however damn long it takes for a Department of Injustice investigation. No, not this time. People need to speak out now. People need to stand up now. Yes, you in the blue and you in the black and gray and white stripes. Stand with us right now.
Stand with us, brother.
Not this time. Not this time. Sister, walking by, right there, you. Come on, stand with us. Huh? Yeah, you have to go right here.
Yeah, back here.
Yeah, 5 minutes.
Yeah.
5 days if you can.
My number is 347.
You want to speak?
Yeah. Speak about it. How does this verdict make you feel?
How does that make you feel?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think on the fight.
Let people know.
Hold it by your hand.
This makes me feel terrible. This makes me feel terrible about Trayvon. Like, youth need to be more careful and need to be protected, and we need to stand together and make sure to protect our youth.
That's good. What's your name?
Ariel.
Aria. How old are you?
I'm 12.
Thank you. Appreciate that. That's Aria.
Give that sister a hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, give me a hand. Give me a hand.
Say what she said.
But also, listen.
Say what she said. I'm replying.
She said this makes.
What did she say?
Mitch,
This makes
I
it sad.
have about Trayvon Martin.
She said that what happened with Trayvon and the verdict made her sad, but it also made her scared, and it made her think that we need to be protecting our youth.
Yes.
Give her a hand, but also listen to what she's saying. Think about it. What does it mean that we live in a society where a 12-year-old walking down the streets has to worry that people just like her are not safe to walk down the streets? Where the Trayvon Martins and the Rachel Jontels and the Ariels of this world can't live without being free of the fear of this death sentence that hangs over the head of every black youth, of every Latino youth. Listen to what she's saying. We need to protect our youth. We do need to get serious about what's going to actually change the situation for these youth out here. It's not going to be a Department of Justice investigation. The same Department of Justice that has no problem with the police departments all over this country that carry out, whether it's stop and frisk, or the gang injunctions, or the murder after murder after murder. And the cops that get off from this over and over again. Think about the 7-year-old in Detroit, Ayanna Stanley Jones, who was sleeping in her grandmother's lap in her grandmother's home. When the police busted in with a flash grenade, burned off her face, and then shot her in the neck, killing her instantly. And then they took this 7-year-old's body and tossed it around like a doll between themselves and laid it out on the street. Then they took her father and arrested him and put his face down in the blood in the glass that had the blood of his daughter who these police had just murdered. And then they had the nerve to arrest the grandmother whose lap she was sleeping on and accuse her of being responsible for the fact that they had just murdered this 7-year-old. And that's still not all of it or the worst of it. This was all being filmed for a reality TV show. You know, one of those TV shows that celebrates how these pigs carry out their war on drugs and how these pigs go out in these inner cities and go after these real criminals. What was 7-year-old Ayanna Stanley Jones' crime? Being asleep on her grandmother's lap? Living in a so-called high-crime neighborhood? No. The crime is this system. The crime is that the system that we live in has no future for these youth. And protecting them, fighting for a different future for these youth, means building a movement for revolution now that is fighting the power and transforming people for revolution. Fighting for a different future for these youth mean people like you in that colorful shirt over there, standing up right now and standing with us, speaking out and saying no more. Hundreds of people becoming armed with whistles that call out these police and blow the whistle on the racial profiling and the police brutality. It means hundreds of people wearing this t-shirt, calling it what it is. This system has no future for the youth, but revolution does. It means people getting with the Revolution Club. Fighting the power and transforming ourselves for revolution. It means not begging for a community review or to reform these police.
She just gave a donation.
It means training ourselves to stand up against these pigs. Yeah, I'm talking to you.
Do you want a few more
I'm talking to
posters
you.
for your donation?
I'm talking to you.
Some stickers.
Yeah, she gave a donation. We are all Trayvon.
People talk about how these youth have choices to make and that they have to take responsibility. We don't get to choose to be born under this system.
Do that unless you ask permission, okay?
We don't get to choose to be born in a situation where the same jobs that Black and Latino people have chased across the world and across the country have been shipped around to the third world to exploit little children. And Black and Latino youth are now growing up in a situation where they're concentrated in the inner cities, the slums, and the ghettos of this country with no way to make a future for themselves other than one kind of hustle or another. And many of them don't. Many of them try to do something else with themselves, and they had their efforts frustrated at every corner. Go see Fruitvale Station. Go see the story of Oscar Grant, which is like the story of many, many other youth who try to make something else for themselves, who try to get out of this or that hustle that they're locked in. And once again, the death sentence that hangs over their head is carried out whenever one of these pigs wants to. We don't choose to be born in this situation, but these pigs choose every day to wake up and to go to a job that carries out the new Jim Crow, that carries out the slow genocide against Black and Latino youth, that carries out the stop and frisk, or the gang injunctions, or the police murder after murder, that carries out the massive incarceration of millions of people. And we have a choice to make now too. Are we going to swallow the lies of this system again? Are we going to swallow the excuses that this system makes for hundreds of years? Or are we going to turn away from that and get with the revolution? Are we going to walk by today? Brothers and sisters right here, stand with us. Stand with us. No more Trayvon Martins. Trayvon did not have to die. It was not the will of some God, and we don't need to look to a God for answers. It is on us. Brother, right here, come. Stand with us.
No, I was trying to get somebody's attention. You understand. Not your attention. Yeah,
We're successful at getting both of them.
I'm trying to get somebody else's attention.
You've been listening for a while. You have something you want to say? All right.
All right? I want to get some other people to speak out.